was born to live life fully, to let go of regret, to walk the high wire of life without a safety net. Yeah, to follow something even bigger than my pride. To show up with courage even when I'm trembling inside. I will not worry about what others think of me. I will not be shackled by the chains of conformity. I'll break the mold set in the past, keep pushing till I'm free at last. I'll follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. Call me fearless. I am fearless. I'll follow the road to adventure everywhere. I'll let down the top, let the wind whistle through my hair. Hitch my dreams onto the brightest star. On the trapeze of life, I'll throw my heart right over the bar. On the other side of fear lies euphoria, and a greater understanding of who we really are. I'll break the mold set in the past, keep pushing till I'm free at last. I'll follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. Call me fearless. Oh, I am fearless. I'll push outside the comfort zone, remembering I'm not alone. I'll follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. Call me fearless. Oh, I am fearless. I'm stronger than I realized. Oh, yes. I am fearless.
Please pray with me. As we come together today on this beautiful, beautiful day that God has made for us, we come in gratitude and appreciation. We come in love and light. For we are here to shine our light, to shine our love into the world, to allow that light and love to ripple out. As it ripples out, more and more people catch it, more and more people send it out. We can make a difference. We are making a difference. As we come together today, we know that we are blessed to be a community of New Dawn. We are blessed with Reverend Jen, our newly ordained minister. We are blessed in so many ways. We are also blessed with all of our volunteers, all the people who make this Sunday service so special. For our practitioners, most definitely. for our ushers, for our technical team, for our musicians, and of course for Reverend Jen. So for all these things, our hearts are just filled with gratitude and love. And we send that out to all of those who are here today, to all of those who couldn't make it today, to all of those who are worshiping in whatever way that they decide to worship. It is all God and it is all good. So as we come together today to listen to Reverend Jen's message, we know that we will take away a few nuggets that we will think about, pray on, meditate on during the week. And it will make us a better person, a better spirit here on this earth. And that's what we are here to do as well, is to grow in our magnificence, as we are each a magnificent spirit of God. So in this day, in this moment, we are so grateful and in deep gratitude for our lives, for our friends, for our families, for this beautiful country that we live in. So as we feel this gratitude, we come together today to say, and so it is. Amen. Our words of inspiration today, the first one is from Daniel Radcliffe. Go boldly and honestly through the world. Learn to love the fact that there is nobody that is quite like you. From Deepak Chopra. Relinquish your attachment to the known. Step into the unknown, and you will step into the field of all possibilities. You will have excitement, adventure, mystery. You will experience the fun of life, the magic, the celebration, the exhilaration, and the exaltation of your own spirit. And from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, there is in every being's heart the love of wonder, the undaunted challenge of events, the unfailing childlike appetite for what's next, and the joy of the game of life. In the central place of every heart, there is a recording chamber. So long as it receives messages of beauty and courage, so long are you young.
I want to take a moment right here and invite you to think of a time when you were fearless. Fearless. Now, you may have been 4 years old and you had a dish towel or a bath towel safety pinned to your shoulders and you were jumping off the coffee table. It doesn't matter when this event took place for you. I want you to get into the energy of what it was like. It may have been later in life when you applied for a job and you knew it was yours before they ever made the phone call. It may have been an opportunity to clean up a conversation that just didn't quite feel right, and you knew that you could speak from your heart and your truth. It may have been a competition at some point in your life where you were doing something that you do really, really well, and you just knew that you had it. But whatever it was in that moment in time, you knew. You knew what you knew, and you knew you could not fail. That is what it means to be fearless. And so as we continue our theme for this month of creativity, we close out the month of April with the title today, Boldly Go. Boldly Go. That we are going to step from this space today with boldness, with courage, with conviction, with determination, that every next step is the right step, the perfect step, and know what we know. When we started looking at the creative impulses that come to us earlier this month, we talked about dancing. And yes, there have been a few donkeys in the process. And we talked about being creative and coming from that space of nothing to something great by just listening to the inner voice, to that inner mechanism within us that tells us where to go, what to do, and how to do it. We are in a place right now where we realize that the highest idea of who we are is our own divinity. The highest idea. So now what? Well, it's time to step up to the plate. I hear it's baseball season. Not something I would have known had my dear friend Carmen not told me, but hey, step up to the plate. Get ready to swing. Get ready to put everything you have into it, because the next steps for us are going to be monumental. And the next steps for you will be momentous if you allow them to be. And that's where the boldness comes from. What we have to remember is that if we want to be victorious, we have to be vulnerable. I don't know about you, but a lot of people don't like to be vulnerable. That might expose something about me. That might show you something within me that I don't want you to know. I don't want you to see. And what I am about in my life, in my world, because I decided to show all my stuff in public, is to let it all be, let everyone see it, allow others to know I'm human too, I'm doing this path too, I make mistakes, I say stuff I shouldn't say. It happens. So in this place of stepping forward and being victorious, that vulnerability, that vulnerable part of who we are comes with us. And what that means is sometimes you will be criticized. Don't get all butthurt about it. Sometimes you might get feedback that you don't want to get. I didn't want to hear that. But you got it anyway. That's when we get to go to that place, and we go in within and we go, okay, well, does this really have something to do with me, or does this have something to do with the other person who was talking? And is there something for me to do in this space? Because a lot of times there isn't. It's not mine to do. I just get to bless the other person and move on. It's that simple. So I want to look at ways that we can move through this week with boldness and still be vulnerable. This week is about embracing and accepting your own authentic life purpose. Wherever you are, however old you are, whatever's going on in your world, to understand that and to accept it and to show up as only you can show up. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, creating, he didn't. Well, he might have said that too, but he said this. He said, healing is not creating a perfect idea or a perfect body. Let me say that again. Healing is not creating a perfect idea or a perfect body. It is revealing an idea which is already perfect. We are the revealers of the truth. The revealers. We don't heal people. We all have the ability to heal ourselves to whatever degree we seek that healing, but it's about revealing. Revealing what's in the way. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We talked about revealing. Was that just last week? I talked about revealing. Revealing and removing the obstacles, getting those things out of the way so that you can go forward. that you can have lightness in your step, that you can have energy in your being, regardless of physical challenges or complications. When we marshal our spiritual forces, we solve big issues. We answer big questions. When we vision for guidance and insight, we reveal magnificent ideas we never, ever could have imagined on our own, because we're tapping into the divinity. We're tapping into the divine idea. From our practice oneness with all life, God, and each other, and our committed availability to greater wisdom, we become powerful vehicles for transformation, healing, and newness. So let's go back to that fearless kid for a minute with the towel safety pin to the shoulders, that amazing, miraculous cape that gave us superpowers. What's your superpower? Spiritual mind treatment. It is proven, it is scientific, it is a formula, it is a process that can take you from the now moment where everything is going crazy and you're losing your mind into that place of solid, grounded peace. It's our superpower. We should be tapping into it all the time. And the cool thing about it is you don't have to run out and find a phone booth, heaven help you, I don't think there are anymore, and change into a costume to have your superpower. All you got to do is go within. Take a breath. Connect. Connect in the awareness, the consciousness that divine is present. We are always connected, but we forget. We get out there, we think we're doing it all on our own. It's that awareness, that consciousness, that desire to remember we are connected. I have a quote from Deepak Chopra. There are only 2 symptoms of enlightenment. Okay, so let me stop right there. So what's the goal for us? I've talked about transcendence. I've talked about the past few weeks about transformation. I've talked about coming into that place where we're just moving along. We don't ever completely arrive, but we get closer and closer and closer to that essence, that energy, that expression of who we are. Part of that is called enlightenment. I love living in the world of enlightenment. I see the world through totally different eyes than so many people, and it's good. And I don't have to go out there and tell them why they're not seeing it right. The ones who want to know come to me. And if I can support, great. And if there's another path for them or for you, that's great too. So there are only 2 symptoms of enlightenment. The first symptom is that you stop worrying. Oh my goodness, what a great measurement. Is that a great tool? If you are worried about tomorrow or next Tuesday or 3 weeks from next Sunday, you haven't quite reached that place of enlightenment yet. Stop worrying. Stop projecting into the future. That I love that. The second is that you encounter more meaningful coincidences in your life, more synchronicities, and this accelerates to the point where you actually experience the miraculous. Wow. Wow. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't believe in coincidence. I think he used that word because it was convenient. Most people know what it means. Thank you, Deepak. Synchronicity, absolutely, I believe in. That's where you are thinking about someone and the phone rings and it's them. Or you go somewhere and you bump into a person that you've been thinking about for days, kind of off and on, and you haven't seen them in years, and there they are. That's synchronicity. That's divine alignment. That is an energy that we bring into consciousness. It's not a coincidence. It's that place where you're sitting at the kitchen table drinking a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you're choosing to drink at that moment in time, and you're thinking about some project in the house, and boy, it would be really great if you had a cool contractor who could help you with this, or a landscaper, or whatever you need, and somebody rings the doorbell, and it's someone who is in that field of work. And you didn't even go into spiritual mind treatment. You didn't even pray about it. They just showed up. That's how that energy works. When we are enlightened, we're attracting all the time. If we have not located the new building for us to meet in the Aurora community, guess what's happening there? Either we don't believe it exists, we're not open to it, or some of us like it here so darn much, we're hanging on. I thought about that this morning in my prayers. I kept thinking, well, am I just like really happy here? Well, I love it here. It's a beautiful space. I'm ready to move. I think we all are. So when we are in that space of enlightenment, we're attracting all the good, all the perfect. That space that we've been talking about, that our dear Marty Dodds has a list of every single thing we want it to be, have, do, whatever. Yeah. Enlightenment. How beautiful is that? I can truly say, without any doubt whatsoever, that I am completely guided by Spirit. That there is nothing I do, nothing I say, no decision I make that is out of the alignment of the relationship I have in God. The more we can say this, the less things we have to go clean up later. The more we can say this, the less challenges we feel that there are. The more we can say this, the less time we feel like we have to just retreat to our bed for 3 days because we just can't face the world. Those energies dissipate, and they're no longer a part of our life. I want to talk to you about an amazing individual. We must recognize that we live in a field of infinite wisdom and wholeness. We live in a world of infinite wisdom and wholeness. And what that means is that anything is possible. Anything is possible. Sometimes it is those moments of our deepest pain and despair where we just kind of crumble into this little dark hole for a while. And what brings us up, where we rise back up out of that, and we come into this place of creativity and new energy and new awareness. So sometimes the very challenges that we like to complain about are the things that are growing us, that are supporting us, that are strengthening us. There are boundless expressions to the human spirit. When I used to teach in corporate America, the word for people that I used in all of my classes was human spirit. When I talked to customer service reps about how to talk to people on the phone, I told them to connect with the human spirit at the other end of the line. This was language that a lot of them had not heard before. It hadn't been familiar. By the time I left the organization, in fact, it was long before I even left the organization, I would hear conversations about, well, what do you think the universe is going to say about that? Or I'd hear someone say, well, I think we should just know that that's what the universe is saying. And then I would hear terminology like human spirit, and we've got to connect heart to heart. And we were a business organization. They were collecting bills. They were talking to people about money, and they were connecting heart to heart. That's the world we live in. That's what we get to do. Dr. Temple Grandin did not talk till she was 3.5 years old. She was teased and singled out at school because she was weird, so they said. She was different. She was intense. She focused on things that the other kids weren't interested in. And the unfortunate piece is that some of our childhood-type behaviors are, if you're not like me, then there's something wrong with you. And then I get to make fun of you. That world is changing also. Her teachers got to help her and instruct her in how to take turns in a game because she didn't understand the social dynamics of interacting with other people. They got to teach her how to stand in line and be patient and wait her turn. The only place that she had friends included activities where there was a shared interest, such as horses, electronics, and model rockets. Her first book, Emergence, labeled Autistic, was written quite a few years ago, and it carries a foreword by Oliver Sacks, and he states in the foreword that this book was unprecedented because there had never before been an inside narrative on autism. No one who carried the diagnosis had written a story about their life, their perceptions, and their beliefs. She is now a prominent author and a speaker on both autism and animal behavior. She is the professor of animal science at the Colorado State University. She also has a successful career consulting on both livestock handling equipment design and animal welfare. They said that it was possible that she was able to communicate with the animals just because of her autism. That was a component that supported her in that. She said years ago, autism is a part of who I am. It is not all that I am. Whatever that one thing is about you that you're trying to hide or that you're upset about or that you just can't deal with, it is not all of you. It is one part of you. And for many of us, it isn't even a part of us. It's something we made up. It's not even the truth. You get to pay attention to that this week, too. It's part of your homework. Today, in the United States, over half of the cattle are handled in facilities that she has designed. Facilities that support the being, that love the being, that allow the being, the creature, the giant cow, to live its life and be cared for in a way of honoring and respect. In 2013, the American Psychiatric Association revised the diagnostic criteria for autism. In 2013, that wasn't that long ago. Do the math, what was that, 9 years? Yeah, 9 years ago. This greatly broadened the spectrum, so we went from this term of autism into ASD, the autistic spectrum disorder. Now it ranges from the absolute brilliant genius who may have interesting quirks about their behavior, and it goes from that side of the spectrum to the individual who possibly requires help just getting dressed, who possibly has no audible language. That's huge. That's huge. And I heard someone say the other day, well, we're all in the spectrum. I've believed that forever. It's just to what variation someone chooses to believe you should be a part of or not be a part of. You should be categorized or not categorized. She did not let it hold her back. She did not let it complicate her life. She had a mission. She found her vision, she found her purpose, and she is still today doing amazing things. This month, as I told you before, is Autism Awareness Month. This is the month where we get to pay attention to this, to hold these people in the light that have these unique and amazing ways of looking at life, that look at something from a perspective that I would have never imagined, but oh my gosh, that's the solution, that's the answer, that's the direction we want to go. We get to honor them. Statistics say that in the United States today, 1 in 59 children have been identified with ASD. 1 in 59. That's a lot of the population. Disregarding, discounting, discrediting is not an option. We get to listen to them. We get to look at what they're about. We get to hear their ideas. We get to see their solutions. They're the future for all of us. And I find that very, very reassuring because autism is alive in my family. And every time I get to interact with one of my family members who has been identified in this beautiful spectrum, I hear things that just blows my mind. It's just like I'm going, we're talking about a show we saw, we're talking about something we witnessed, we're talking about something that we're doing, and this little voice or this younger voice says something to me from a perspective that I'm thinking, did I check out for a minute and I missed something important? And it's beautiful, and I value it. I value it. It's absolutely incredible. Raymond Charles Barker tells us this: the full symphony of your real self can only be heard when all the windows of your mind are open to the fullness of life. Ernest Holmes said, be open at the top. He said it over and over again. If you are looking at the science of mind, philosophy, and you are scrutinizing and you're trying to make it fit into this little space, stop it. It is limitless. That is why I chose to be a part of this. That's why I chose ministry. I finally got to the point where I thought, oh my gosh, I get this. Yes. Yes, this is what I want to do. And yes, this is what I want to teach. And yes, this is how I want to live. So I want you to think about this. What do you do naturally that you love? Where do you lose yourself in an experience? For some of us, it's nature. For some of us, it could be gardening. For some of us, it could be walking the dog or letting the dog walk you, which is what I do. Where do you find yourself most at home in your own skin? Where is that place where it just feels good, it just feels right, it just feels comfortable, it feels perfect? What makes your heart sing more than anything else in the world? These are the questions I want you to mull over this week. These are the things that are coming alive in you and that are getting your attention, or saying, this is where you get to live in that place of boldness. In this space. Yes, it's great to learn new things. Absolutely. But let's figure out what fuels us, what fires us up, what brings that spark into our expression. My youngest son, Jake, was with us Friday night at the incredible event that was, I'm just still so full of love by everything that transpired. And he was one of the bearded guys in the fellowship hall, and he and his wife Selena created a playlist for me because they thought they were going to be playing music and everybody was going to be in there listening to music, which I kept telling him it wasn't going to be. We're too chatty for that, but whatever. They gave me the playlist yesterday morning, and I've been listening to it. Every song. I think every song I've ever said, oh my God, I love that song, that has been about the determination, the boldness, the creative ideas of who we are, of that taking a stand in your own authentic self. All of that music is on my playlist. And there is a song that I listened to yesterday that I had not heard before, and it's by Anthem Nights or Anthem Lights, Anthem, something like that. Anyway, it's called Who I'm Meant to Be. And I just want to read you a phrase. It says, I do not want to spend my life trying to fight for what's not mine. I don't want to lose myself in someone else's dream. I know I was made with a purpose to reach past the surface, live life fearlessly. I want nothing less than to be who I'm meant to be. How incredible is that? Let's take that with us into this week, and let's look at those bold steps, those bold actions. Taking bold, focused action creates explosive results. I talked to you last week about getting excited. I talked about getting excited on Friday night. I'm excited a lot. I'm even more excited now. So let's explode the results. Let's create something explosive. Let's take a move and not even have to worry about advertising what we're doing. The whole world is going to know it happened. That's what happens when we stand boldly, when we take a bold step and focused action. We must do one thing that I'm going to encourage you to let go of today. It is called the knowing it all armor. It is called the been there, done that ego. Those things right there are protection devices. If you hear that muddling around in your head, if it starts to come out of your mouth, oh my gosh, awareness and consciousness are the first steps. You can just stop, retract, say it differently. Even if you've tried it 9,000 times and it didn't quite work, but there's still something alive in you that says it's mine to do, go for it. Possibly everything wasn't aligned the way it needed to be those other times, and now it is. All of creation and all of creativity starts with a single word. Yes. Yes. It is not only the word of the divine, whenever we turn anything over to that spiritual entity, that energy, that beautiful perfection, that amazing being, but also what happens within us. You can go home and play with this if you want to. There's a little trick I do. It's where you take these two fingers, you put them together, you hold them really tight as you can, and I say, show me yes. And every time I say, show me yes, I can't hold my fingers together. It's something to do with kinesiology, but we won't get into that. And if I say, show me no, no matter how much I strive to pop those two fingers apart, I cannot. No has an effect on your physical body. And I was reminded Friday night, I don't even get to say that word anymore, which I'm really thrilled because it was never my favorite word. Yes, always has been. Always has been. So what we get to do this week is we get to step in that feeling of being alive, awake, aware, powerful, courageous, bold, fearless, and step into those things that we want to do. Embrace them. Connect with the people we want to connect with. Live the life that you deserve. Even the moon has the wisdom to know it's a step-by-step process. A new moon teaches gradualness and deliberation and how one gives birth to oneself slowly. Patience with small details makes perfect a large work, like the universe. I have not arrived at a position in my life. I'm here where I am, but there's still work to do. There's still growth. There's still development. There's still transformation. Thank goodness I had the time and the energy to take the baby steps. And sometimes I even stepped backwards, and then I went forward again. But it all brought me here. Everything that you have done has brought you here. You don't have to take some giant leap to go forward. Be bold, push yourself, and get comfortable being uncomfortable. So it's time, my friends, not to only think outside the box, but burn the darn box. We don't belong in a box. If you had belonged in a box, you would have been delivered to your parents in a box. That didn't happen. Get outside of the box. Allow yourself to come forth into this space, into this moment. Whatever it is that has held you, whatever it is has contained you, whatever it is that has made you feel limited, figure out what that is and start working on letting that go. There was a time in my life when I struggled greatly. I didn't know where to go. I was in, it had been happening for a few years, but it came to a head about 1999. I walked into a center for spiritual living. I started taking classes, I got into workshops, and I heard of this amazing musician, this amazing songwriter by the name of Janice Stanfield. And she sang a song, If I Were Brave. That song lit me up from the inside out. I would sing it over and over and over again. And I had an opportunity a few years later to meet her in person. And I ran up to her and I said, oh my gosh, thank you for this song. It has transformed my life. It moved me out of a behavior and an energy and a victimhood and into a philosophy that was teaching me that I could have anything I wanted, and I didn't ever have to go back to anything like that. And I'm sharing this with her, and she's got tears in her eyes. She wrote the darn song, but she is moved by my story. If you were brave, if you were bold, what would you do today? What would you do differently from maybe what you had planned for this afternoon? If you were brave, how would you be? This week, the positive side of your homework is grab a hold of that song, whatever song it is, that touches you, that moves you, that makes you come alive. And I don't care if you have to dance across the floor and your knee doesn't feel so hot. Do it anyway. You can soak your knee later. Enjoy the energy of the music that brings forth the idea of going boldly forward on your path. Join me with this idea this week. Let us pray. And so as we just breathe into this moment, this now time, we recognize and acknowledge again the very power, the presence, the truth, the love, and the light that is God, is Spirit, everywhere present, permeating all things. This Godness, this God blessing. This beautiful energy that reminds us over and over and over again that we are limitless, that we can accomplish anything we choose. And so this week, I know that each one of us is blessed, and everyone that hears this message is blessed by God to live a life that is bold, that is courageous, taking time to get comfortable in being uncomfortable. How amazing is that? How incredible that feels. How perfect. How blessed we are. And so I bless all people everywhere, knowing that the divine lives within each and every one, regardless of how they seem to be behaving and showing up. It does not matter. We know that there is spirit within. And today, as we go from this place, we connect eye to eye and heart to heart with that God within all people. And we embrace it. We celebrate it. So in this moment, in this time right here and right now, there is nothing more we must do there is nothing more that needs to happen. We release these words onto the law of mind, where the universal wisdom, the divine, says yes every single time. We let it go. We let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
Would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed with the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. I'd never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? You know there are. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refuse to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? I am brave, I walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread, even lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today? I am brave. What will I do 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 today? I am brave.
Woohoo! Woo! Thank you.
Hello, I'm Reverend Jen Wild, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.